Hey, Rabbi Rachel.
Hey, Rabbi Marcus.
Do I have a spark for you today?
Ooh, spark it up.
We got a spark. Who's ready for a spark? I am.
We're all ready.
All ready. So, I want to get to the origin of sparks. Why is this called Elul sparks, you might ask?
That's a great question.
It's because the great Jewish mystical masters, the great Kabbalists, the great Hasidic Rabbis believed that there was light everywhere. They believed that if God is everywhere, God is up there, God is there, God is everywhere, as the rhyme goes, then so too is God's light everywhere. If God created everything, then there must be light everywhere. But I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you see light everywhere?
No, I mean, sometimes there's dark times, sometimes there's dark moments, dark places.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so obvious that light is everywhere. So what were they thinking, right? You can't just see light everywhere just all the time, just right from the beginning. As you said, there are dark places. And boy, this past year and a half or so, we've been in quite a dark place. Many of us have been through many dark periods. Yet the Hasidic Rebbeim would say that there's still light in those places. That if God truly creates the whole entire world, that there truly is light. It's just buried under the ground. It's just buried, and they called it a
spark.
A spark. A little spark was hidden. And what our job was to do was to find the sparks. Now, the biblical character they used to create this allegorical story was actually Joseph.
That's interesting.
And you know what Joseph's name means?
Joseph's name means addition.
Addition. Yosef, Hosif, to add on, right? It's an addition. Why is his name that? Well, the Hasidic rabbis actually said that Joseph went into a great place of darkness. He was sold into slavery and oppressed in the dungeons of Egypt. He had a terrible, terrible time. But we know that slowly Joseph was able to rise up and say, God is in this place as well. He was able to rise up all the way to be second to Paro, second to the king, and able to save many, many people in terms of dealing with the famine. And he was able to find more light by doing this. More light than he would have found before if he hadn't been sold into slavery, if he hadn't have gone through these dark moments. Now, no one's saying that Joseph meant to go into these dark moments. No one would have asked for these dark moments, but because he was in those dark moments and he was able to overcome it, he was able to find more light, which is why the Hasidic Rebbeim says his name means Yosef, Lahosif, to add on, that Yosef added more light into the world because he was in this place of darkness. So my question to us, my reflective question today is, how in this past year, we know that we've all been in places of darkness. It's not been an easy year for any of us. So have you found any light in your own life during this dark time that you might have not found before if you weren't in this place of darkness? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that pops into my mind right away is our daughter Hadassah. She was 5 months old. She was 5 months old during the beginning of the pandemic in March 2020. So I had just gone back to work. She was in daycare, and it was a struggle. It was hard. I feel like we were both missing out on a lot of her life in those moments. And then all of a sudden the world shut down, and all of a sudden we were all home together as our little pod, our little family of the three of us.
We had a cute little pod. We really did.
We did, and we got to spend so much time with her, and we got to really get to know who she was, and we got to know each other as parents. And we really kind of experienced something that we otherwise wouldn't have experienced, and we certainly wouldn't have asked for. We wouldn't have asked for a global pandemic that shut the world down.
God forbid.
But when it happened, we were able to find that spark of light, that light of our little family.
Beautiful. So the question to you is, Rachel and I certainly have been able to find a little bit of spark within our darkness and becoming better parents and spending more time with Hadassah. What's a spark that you might have found? What is one thing in your own life that you have been able to find in your own life that you wouldn't have found before? I hope everyone has a pleasant Shabbat, a meaningful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom for myself and Rabbi Rachel.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to you, and see you at the next
Elul Sparks.
Elul Sparks. Bye now.